smoke here, a smoke here, a smoke here, a smoke here. Like, how do you play this game with these many smokes? This is just chaos, and I love it. This is one of the most thrilling series of Valorant that you will ever watch. NRG versus Loud here at Lock-In in 2023. Some of these rounds are the closest, craziest rounds that I have ever seen, and we go to overtime in map 2 and a super extended overtime in map 3 on Fracture. That's going to be a part 2 on this series that'll be released tomorrow. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss that coming out tomorrow. Let's get straight into these rounds and just look at how close it is. So first round that we are going to look at today is round 15 on Pearl, attacking half here for Loud, and they've just had a force buy on round 14 that got shut down pretty heavily, but they do well to recoup here and do a bit of damage to NRG in this round 15, third round in the half. You can see they're trying to look for just a bit of a duel here, knowing that they're going to be going up against Spectres. Trying to get a bit of a one-tap with the Sheriff is definitely a very viable type thing. And whilst this core 4 have been looking into art, we have Les, who's crept all the way down here to Pillar on B long, which is another great angle for this Sheriff. He gets walled off by FNS, and then FNS is going to sneak himself over towards screens, and he's going to sit there with his frenzy and play this 1-out position. Now, this is a great position when you're against the eco. If you've got a weaker gun, like, you know, this is a downgrade, this frenzy, compared to all the Sheriffs that Loud has. So FNS is able to play this 1-out cheeky position. It doesn't matter if he dies, and they get the dog cub through, and FNS is going to get 2 here with the patience, not shooting that jet as it comes through. Frenzy runs out of bullets and they clean him up and trade, but then Loud, they use the cove here, and you might have noticed this is why the rounds get crazy. Both of these teams are running harbor comps. What? Mirror comps as well, pretty much. Just Jet versus Raze is the only difference. So it's really interesting. Things get really cluttered really quickly in these retakes and site hits. There's so many smokes between the Viper wall and the harbor walls coming out. Victor gets on this nice little lurk here, wrapping around through B-Link, and Aspas just hits that crazy shot, and then all of a sudden Crashies just gets on the spike and it's done. What? The Victors come for this kind of pathing, and we have the attacking players forced all the way back into spawn by this Killjoy ult. Rather than coming back down long, they're forced into spawn in this position. Victor has a great timing here, and he just whiffs, and then Aspas just turns and hits that shot, and it gets so much better. 4 rounds to start the half here for NRG, gets them up to 11, and then they lose the next 4, and now they're on eco. This is a dangerous position for NRG to be in. They need to do something and do it now. So Loud's going to come down towards B long, as you would when you've got that gun advantage. You've got the Vandals, you've got the Phantoms. You want to use that open space and to get the fights that you want. They use the Viper Orb to cross to console, and then use the Cascade to scale all the way down B long. They're going to dog through into sight and flash and walk through and start their execute here against the eco. Now, the thing about these comps, especially when they're mirror comps, is that sites can get just so congested, and just watch how much of a cluster this becomes. One thing to note here for Loud is they don't run ahead. They do run ahead of this harbor wall that's going to come through and block off this whole heaven angle, but they're so aware of the pathing that they can actually take and get ahead of and create an unexpected timing against NRG by getting all the way into backside. Their spacing is really off though. Cowanzin's really far forward. Aspas is only just entering sight. We've got 2 sitting behind Pillar right now, and Killjoy's still sitting in spawn watching the flank. So there's lots of opportunities here for NRG to get in here and pick apart this comp with this eco. Now you see their spacing is a little bit better, but this nade is what This nade is what triggers this fall apart here for Loud. You see Kawazin's, he's forced all the way into this back corner, and Aspas is forced to move away from him. There's going to be a flash that comes out, and then the smokes come through, and just watch how congested this becomes. So here's the flash. Aspas smokes himself to try and protect himself, but that's going to do nothing against the cascade that's coming in. Victor picks him up. Artist picks off that one, and you see even this tidal wave wall again. Look how much smaller B-site just feels, just with this all wrapped around in like this little circle. Som gets himself over to this really nice spot in screens. He could actually cove himself out here as well, which I think would have been a really nice play to get himself with this Phantom back towards someone who can pick it up if he dies, rather than playing the one and done position that he does here up against screens. I understand in the moment why you want to do this, but using that cove as like a sage wall, a barrier to get yourself out, would have been a really, really nice idea. Now he does have the patience. He doesn't go spamming into this. He is on 1 HP. Does get one and then is spammed down. And now NRG, they don't get to pick up on that Phantom. They are left in a 2v3 with some really weak guns, but also look, Loud's not in a great position either. Crashes has his lockdown available too that he can use, and somehow they've got to get a plant down with all of this smoke just cutting them off from being able to push into site. This is an impossible situation for Loud to win here without just hitting some really nice shots. See, they're both kind of one tap now. Crashies doesn't want to risk anything, and he just pops the ult down. He says, all right, 20 seconds left. This is the round we need to win. If we win this round, we can win this game. So he pops it open, and then they obviously have to go and fight it with only 20 seconds left and needing to plant, and they just get spammed through the smokes. Really nice round from NRG there to pull it all together. And so this advantage of this comp is that when you're against any kind of team, it becomes a really dangerous comp to anti-eco against, just because the way that you can chaotically cut up the space like NRG do in this round, which is a great attribute to have for a comp. One that has great tools for anti-ecoing, or for when you are ecoing, which is a great tool to have for any comp, to have tools that are good when you are on eco to force thrifties. That's pretty damn good. Alright, so we've seen a clutch ninja defuse effectively. We've seen a thrifty, and now I want to show you one of the closest rounds in Valorant that you can have. Round 24, Loud need this to take it to overtime so that they can close out the series 2-0. NRG fighting for their lives, want to close this out 13-11. Only a half buy here for NRG though, with 2 ults here on the side of Loud, which are going to help them entry and get onto this site. Look at the Harbor ult, just comes all the way through the wall as well, and then there's this really nice cascade. So this is going to fall all the way through here and cut off this wall. Look at that, and then you get the one back in reverse, and just look at this. When have you ever seen A side or Pearl be cut up in this kind of way where it's just completely segmented? This is a new way that this map is being played right now, and it's really cool to see. I really like this cascade. There's no other smoke that you can take this space with other than this cascade right now. If you just smoke here, you still have to take this fight and, and flash yourselves in, but if you use the cascade to push through, you're going to get that tiny slow, and you're just going to get it vision breaking them, forcing them to move out of a position and you can swing with the cascade, and then it lands in this smoking position as well for you. So Loud, they do follow that cascade in, and they take this space into secret, and they reinforce it with a second one as well. Now Som starts the retake here with the cascade, doing that in main, and we have Killjoy ults for both teams. Crashes gets one in the back of the head and gets traded out, and now everyone respects these ults. Now clock's ticking down. Finesse hits this nice shot on Les, who just gets caught wide swinging unnecessarily, really. And now it's a 4v3, and Aspas is on 1 HP. All 3 members for Loud, all in this position. They've got to be aware of this because of the Killjoy ults that everyone's here. And they kind of just get taken apart. Artist solo peaks, 2 go down through the smoke. Som gets the final trade, but Sadak is there to spam him. And we go to overtime. So NRG now onto the attack in this round 25. You see this Viper Orb coming up, allowing this Cascade to come all the way down, denying Sadak any vision and allowing them to scale up through B. Som gets the orb, so they've clearly got a plan here to get Som's ult up and running. He's got Spike on as well, so if he gets that plant down, he's only going to need 1 frag to have the ult, which is been really underrated, I think. I think the Harbor ult is a great ultimate. Potentially needs a very slight buff to make it like a really good, and but I think it's balanced right now the way that it is. The info that you get from it, thinking of Harbor as this initiator controller hybrid, it allows you to just move into that space. It's free. If it tags no one, it's information that no one's there. It's free space to be taking. So we get like a bit of a more sort of standard wall here. Nothing too crazy here for NRG on this retake, and they're just going to fall back into main. They're going to play to spam this spike down. Now you are up against a Harbor, remember, but the Cove doesn't have that much HP, so being able to spam with 4 people down long is always going to be really quite strong. And the Cove isn't going to be quite enough to get there, but the Cascade is going to help with that as well. The Nano Swarm comes out, and look, like there's just like there's a smoke here, a smoke here, a smoke here, a smoke here, a smoke here. Like, how do you play this game with these many smokes? This is just chaos. It removes all structure and discipline, and it just makes the level of coordination so much harder to be able to like flash through and peek off of each other through all these different smokes, because you peek through one smoke and there's another wall, or even in the middle of sight here, again, more nano swarms. It's just nuts. It's just nuts. And I love it. So they get the Cove down. NRG, they spam the Cove and break it. Sadhack gets this kill, and he has to push up. He's trying to pressure. He doesn't want NRG to be able to spam through this wall. The rest of the team, they're all looking here as well. They all want to take this fight, and it's going to come down to the wire. They're all peeking through the wall at different times. Artist runs out of bullets, and look at this. Watch this in slow motion. Fight happens, and all Artist needs to do is hit this shot, but he's only got 2 bullets left in the chamber. He has to be quick. He knows he's got 1 coming around as well. It's a really nice wrap from Les too. He's on 1 HP and he's coming around this way. Artist fires the 2, gets it out, and actually hits the headshot. Any other gun, Phantom, would kill him there. If he just took that extra second and lined it up and made sure he hit the shot. Les wraps around here as well with perfect timing. Just to get a headshot in that situation and then lose the round. If he kills Cowden, then Les is too far away from the spike. But they do rally. They do end up winning this game 13-15, getting a lot of value out of the Harbor here, especially on the attack side. I don't think is seeing as much value on the defensive side, but there's some really great next level ideas that are starting to come through as people get more and more familiar and comfortable with Harbor. It's really cool to see. Obviously with Harbor, if you want to see some more really cool ideas with Harbor, go check out my video from yesterday with DRX using Harbor on Icebox. I think it could just be the best comp moving forward. Just the ideas that it has around it. It could be the next evolution from the typical Sage meta that we have seen on Icebox. That's how highly I rate it. after only seeing a couple of games of it. But with those ideas refined, you never know where it could go.